I started when I came home from Iraq.
When I stopped by each cross, I'd kind of sit and think about times we had together.
You can see it on TV, you know what the cost is, but until you actually have something to relate it back to, you don't understand what the entire magnitude is.
My brother's buried in the Arlington National Cemetery, and this has somewhat of a resemblance to that.
It just helps you realize that there are people that love and care.
When you stand here and you look across the field and you see that many crosses and you know that each one of them was a human being that had a family and had a life at one time, but they gave the ultimate sacrifice for this country. That definitely means a lot to me.
It makes me feel like overwhelmed with just like sorrow that they had to give their life for this, but also just really proud that we have so many people around that will just give their lives for us at this overwhelming number, and it makes me feel very proud of these people, and just that they love their country so much and the people in it.
It's amazing. The people here are so full of love. You see that none of these soldiers will ever be forgotten. You see all these crosses and it hurts, but at the same time, there's names. You gotta come.
Really enjoyable to come out here, and to say that it's enjoyable in a different way. It's really peaceful, and we enjoy it as a family to come out and see things like this and realize that the American people are really involved.
I've been to Arlington, and I felt the mood when I walked there. It was very quiet, and this is every bit as heart-wrenching to me, because I can see how that represents people on this war.
As I was looking out on these crosses, I reflected back of standing at the cemetery in Normandy, and the crosses that are in rows like these behind me of those who died in World War II. I thought at that time how many young lives had been cut short because of war.
When I stopped by each cross, I'd kind of sit and think about times we had together.
You can see it on TV, you know what the cost is, but until you actually have something to relate it back to and to connect it back into, you don't understand what the entire magnitude is. And you can look at it one of two ways. The Field of Heroes is huge. It is a massive row of crosses, but if you take the time to go and see the pieces of land that were dedicated to World War II veterans who lost their lives, set up in the same configuration as the Field of Heroes, then all of a sudden you realize that although the cost is high, some things are definitely worth paying the cost for.
People are just amazed, especially when they're driving by at night, because we haven't lit 24 hours a day, and so at night they can see all the white crosses, and they come and say, "What's all this about?" And then they're just amazed at the numbers that are there and say, "I didn't realize all this is really happening."
Father, we thank you for a community that remembers, for people that will go the extra mile to do that which is right, whether it is popular or not.
Now, this memorial is just part of what this community is doing. I didn't realize how unique this is until our son's commanding officer contacted us and told us that the kind of response he's seeing from Pocatello is not typical of what's going on in the rest of the country.
I think the people in this area are very proud to be Americans.
I was actually shocked when I first saw all the crosses out there, because that takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of effort to write all their names on them, and a lot of volunteer hours to put something together like this.
The people that do it are the volunteers, and they're the ones that make it all happen. Every one of them was out there in rain and snow and everything else, and even blistering heat a couple days where, but see, they are the ones that are going out and making it done right, and they make sure it's done right. That's fantastic. It's a whole community project.
I hope other communities will see it and maybe have the feel inside, this is what we will do, and it will build our community's camaraderie and our closeness together.
Today we came out just to help out the community and show our support for all of the troops that have fought and died in the war, and just to help out the community and show that we're here for them.
I like to give it back because I'll always think that I could have given a little more.
We had a lot of volunteers. If we wouldn't have been for the volunteers, we'd have never got them up in time.
There was a lot of people behind the scenes. Boy Scouts, American Legion Riders, POWMIA Association, the high school kids that came out and helped us. People flow out there after work. It was, to me, that was really stirring to see. There's many people that took their time to come out and assist us on this, that we couldn't have enough time to go through and mention everybody's names. But people came out with their small kids and said, can we let the kids be out here? Sure, you know. Heck, we can show them how to put up crosses.
So this is the one point to stand out and say, hey, don't forget the guys that are actually over there. And look at and see what we've done here. We're going to make sure that they're not forgotten. And I think since we're the only community in the nation to do anywhere near like what we're doing right now, it's going to grow.
When we was putting them up, I asked this one lady, and she had a little boy, about, I don't know, maybe 4 years old or something, 3 or 4. And she asked me, she says, is it okay if I put a flower or a wreath or something on one of the crosses? And I told her, I said, ma'am, you can put anything up you want on those crosses. Just, you know, is this for your be favor, you know? So I says, she said, well, I'd like to put a flower or something on that one cross. And I says, well, that's fine. I said, is it your brother, your dad, or something? And anyway, she looked at me and she said, that's my husband over there. I kind of lost it. I had to turn around with a big lump in my throat and walk off, you know.
We thank you for the memorials and the monuments throughout our community that make us unique, and yet we add another today on these grounds.
In Vietnam, it was a very bad homecoming. It was a negative homecoming. It seemed like we'd come home and everyone was against us, even though he spent a year, I spent 3 years there. Came back and all of a sudden I was a bad guy. So we're making sure that our soldiers coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan aren't treated anywhere like that. And then we're going to make sure that we're going to honor them wherever we can.
We feel bad that they didn't have the wonderful honor that was given for the Vietnam War. It may have not been a good war. We shouldn't have maybe been there, but that is beside the point. This war maybe shouldn't be going, but that doesn't matter. That's beside the point. The real issue is, are you supporting, are you loving, sending love to these kids that are over there?
Field of Heroes bridges a gap between the Vietnam veterans and this younger generation of veteran that's coming home. It helps heal, it helps bring understanding, and some kind of solitude, some kind of remembrance for those people, those men and women who died.
brings some really appreciation that all of America has for this type of service.
Each and every one of those is each and every individual person who's actually died over there. And so that you know for each and every cross is either a man or a woman, whether it be a private to a general.
We're trying to pay a just tribute to the soldiers because each cross is named. All of them are chronological by the first one killed to the very last one. And we place them at rows of 3 where you can go down and get every casualty that's there.
But it isn't just putting up the memorial. I don't think I would like to have them put this up on a permanent basis, because once it's put up, it's there, and then you kind of forget about it. And by putting it up each year, the people come back to help and reinforce that. And that's what's really moving, is the people that are all get together and work like they do, putting it together.
Even though you get really, really tired, it's well worth it. When you stop and look it all over, it's fantastic.
You can really grasp a hold of what's really coming off for our troops. That our troops are the ones to come back and say, hey, we love this.
They have done a wonderful job at setting this up and making a wonderful tribute to all these men and women. These men and women really deserve it. They've done a very good job.
Each cross is treated sacred. We put them up over, we take care of them, we don't destroy them, we don't do anything like that. This is a cemetery.